All right, you guys, what's going on? It's your Town Biz. All right, so check this out. First of all, I want to say congratulations to Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony makes the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. I don't know who else is going to join him on. I don't know who else is going to join him when it's time for induction. I haven't looked, but he appears to be the most noticeable one who made the Hall of Fame. Now, the question is Carmelo Anthony a first ballot Hall of Famer? Carmelo Anthony played for the Denver Nuggets. He played for the New York Knicks. He played for the Portland Trail Blazers. And he played for a couple of other teams. He played for the Oklahoma City Thunder, if I'm not mistaken. He scored, I think, around 27, 28,000 points. But the thing is with Carmelo Anthony, he was a multi-time All-Star. But the thing is with Carmelo Anthony, he never won a championship. He never won a league MVP. Um, I'm trying to think, did he ever play in the finals? I'm thinking about a guy like Chris Bosh who won two NBA championships, and he wasn't allowed to go into the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. And then I'm thinking about Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady didn't win nothing, but somehow, some way, Tracy McGrady got into the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. These people are very finicky and inconsistent about who they vote into the Hall of Fame. It just goes to show you it's a popularity contest. You know, it just is. What is the criteria of a Hall of Famer? Well, I'm waiting for somebody to tell me. You go by how many championships somebody won, or do you go by individual accolades? What is a Hall of Famer? Okay, if you go by individual accolades, then Carmelo Anthony is a Hall of Famer. He scored a shitload of points. That he did do. And even though many people believe that Carmelo Anthony should have been the rightful rookie of the year, they gave it to LeBron James, even though Carmelo Anthony averaged more points per game his rookie year than I think Carmelo Anthony averaged 21 points a game, and I think LeBron averaged around 20. You know, but you just look at his career. He did have a successful career, but the thing is, like I said, he didn't win anything. And this is the same problem that I have with the NFL voting. They're very inconsistent about who gets into the Hall of Fame and who doesn't. Okay, because I think what they did to Eli Manning was a sham, and it was bullshit. Eli Manning did enough in his career to go into the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. How do you win two Super Bowls? You are a two-time Super Bowl MVP, but you don't get elected into the Football Hall of Fame. But Carmelo Anthony, he was a solid player, but like I said, what is the criteria of a Hall of Famer? What qualifies you to get put into the Hall of Fame? And then here we go again. It circles back to that age old question. Okay, should a guy like Robert Horry be in the Hall of Fame? Should guys like him be in the Hall of Fame? Like I said before, I'm thinking about Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh had to wait his second year eligibility to get into the Hall of Fame. But Carmelo Anthony and Tracy McGrady getting in on the first ballot. Weird. So I'm trying to figure out, I really am trying to figure out what is the landscape? How do these voters determine, well, this guy deserves my vote? Now, me myself, do I think Carmelo Anthony is a first ballot Hall of Famer? Would I have voted Carmelo Anthony into the Hall of Fame on the first ballot? I guess by default I would have to because of his numbers. But if I went by his accomplishments on, teams he played for, was he an impactful player on whatever teams he played for? Was he a difference maker? And they tried to put him on that Oklahoma team. Unfortunately, they wasn't able to get it done. So that's why I'm posing this question: is he a true first ballot Hall of Famer? And then from this point on, once again, how do we determine who's a first ballot Hall of Famer? Because to me, I think this is controversial. I understood Allen Iverson going in because Allen Iverson was a game changer. He impacted the game. But Carmelo Anthony was a guy, he just scored a whole bunch of points. But technically, that's what he's supposed to do is score. Carmelo Anthony was a great scorer, but he was a mediocre defensive player. I mean, and I'm being nice by calling him mediocre, but I'm just looking at his resume besides all the points he scored. So there you have it. That's just my personal opinion. I think by I think by default, Carmelo Anthony is a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I can make an argument that he isn't. Like I said before, if they gave me a vote and they asked me, well, Taylor, do you think Carmelo Anthony should go into the Hall of Fame? And my answer will be, well, based off the fact he scored a whole bunch of points, yeah. But I would say by default. So there you have it. It's your boy Town. I'm out.